My name's Cynthia Marsh and I'm directing Euripides' Women of Troy. It's in a modern version by Don Taylor, so it's been transposed into modern English. Where we come into the story in this play, The Women of Troy, is that the men have all been killed, their sons have all been killed, and the women are corralled, if you like, in front of their temple and are guarded by the Greek soldiers. And they're waiting to be told what's going to happen to them. I think you have a problem with Greek classical drama because the mode, the idiom that they're using is one that's really very foreign to us now. And I wanted to make it relevant. I wanted it to reflect contemporary situations, particularly contemporary war situations. So I've updated the costume. We've thought about where it might be located, and one of the places that I would suggest that we're dealing with here is the Near East, principally where Europe and Asia meet. We have a group of fairly brutal modern soldiers who are the men. The women are given Eastern dress to suggest they come from a different culture, a different sort of civilization. So I'm looking really at those two very different cultures and how they integrate and how they're played out today in war. If you think about that region, you can talk about the situation in the Balkans to the west 12 years ago, or you can move further east and we're into Iraq, Afghanistan and Syria. So those are theatres of war in a contemporary sense, and it's really thinking about what happens to people who are conquered by an invading force and what kinds of codes of honour are not preserved or are preserved in the way that they're treated. In the year that he was writing it, Athens was about to go to war again, and Euripides was greatly disturbed that the Greek sense of honour wouldn't be preserved in war and that they would mete out a similar kind of brutal treatment if they conquered anybody again. So he writes the play as a warning. So he picks a very famous story, which is the story of Helen of Troy and of the sacking of Troy, as a way of suggesting to his contemporary Greek audiences that this is really no way to treat women. But what is absolutely phenomenal is that the principal characters are women, and you very rarely find such hugely and deeply emotional speeches given into the mouths of women. In Shakespeare you don't find that. So they are the real carriers and vehicles of the action. So that's one of the reasons I really wanted to deal with it, and I think the female performers in the show have really felt liberated by being given the text, which is not often the case in all forms of modern British drama. But the great privilege is to be able to bring something from another culture, something from another period, and put it on a contemporary stage, so that only can add richness to our own theatre today. And that's another reason why I was very keen to do this show.